Happy Thursday, boys and girls. My name is Jeffery Scott Mitchell, coming to you live on Memorex. Default route, default location. Happy Thursday. Thursday is always a good day. For me, that's not true. Nothing is ever absolute like that. Thursday's energy usually feels up because we're so close to Friday. And Wednesday is usually an office day. So spirit is usually good after an office day, seeing everybody in the office, talking to people, being able to do this, being able to do that. And then back to working from home. Here come these two cats again. I know, these are my people. You see them riding in the bike lane. Here we go, they gotta move over. This dude is still riding up the lane. Y'all gotta move over, man. Figure it out. You got to move over. They got to move over. I got to tell this dude, I'm gonna tell him. Hey, look, man, you got to move over. You got to move over. You in the orange. You got to move over and you got to move over. This is the walking lane. I'm gonna tell them next time. They get on my nerves. Actually, they seem like, you know, quote unquote nice people, just oblivious to what's going on, is all. And it's my duty as a human being to let them know for their own good. How about that? 6 feet, damn it, we still under COVID protocol. Yes, we are. So, you know, Thursday's usually a good day. And this weekend, Steeler game at I was gonna say San Diego, playing the Chargers in Los Angeles, SoFi. Looking at tickets, Rick talking about coming down. You know, figure out the weekend, figure out that. And just playing the whole week. You know, what I got going next week, and here, there, et cetera, Thanksgiving, all of that. All of that in one kind of blur. You know, return tickets, just stuff. And I was actually thinking, you know, hey, you know, tickets for this game is kind of high. Well, to sit where I prefer to sit, in the club section, 50-yard line. To sit where they wanted like $1,300, $1,400 a ticket. Of course, it's like VIP, free food, this or that, perks of this. But really, I'm just there. I'll eat once. You know, maybe I'll spend $50 on a meal, and I'm good for the whole game. My thing is to see the game. I don't even go to the bathroom. I try not to even go to the bathroom. Halftime, you know, I get there, get to the game. As soon as the doors open, which is 2 hours before kickoff, so I'm in the place. Damn near 2 hours before kickoff, walking around, watching the players warm up, going from one part of the stadium to the other to my seat, getting to my seat, getting some food, usually do all that, get some food, and get to my seat, and there's usually nobody there. There's usually nobody in that whole area, that whole section almost, just me. Of course, as your occasional person who comes in, you know, with their seat, and their seat's like right next to you. The whole goddamn stadium is empty. And the next person to come in is the seat right next to you. And people, and I understand, I get it. People come in, you know, if they see you sitting in your seat, they'll still sit in the seat right next to you. Because that's their damn seat. That's the seat they pay for. And I get it. You know, you're comfortable, you're in your seat, you ain't got to worry about nobody asking you to move, blah, blah, blah. But after you've done this for so much, you realize I ain't got to sit, you know, we got hours for the game. People ain't gonna show up, you know, till later. So I've gotten up and moved. I'll be sitting there, nobody in the section eating. Somebody coming in, their seat be like right next to mine. I'd be like, God damn. I just get up and move. I was like, there's no reason for us to be all this crowded We'll get enough of that during the game. And then parking down there. Look at Spot Hero. You can usually get parking and have to walk a little bit. You Spot Hero, get parking, walk a little bit. And the walk ain't so bad because you get out of traffic. You kind of can walk out of traffic some. So, and it's a night game. So it might not be over till 8 or might not get out of there till 10, 10:30, whatever. Rick gonna be here. So I know he gonna wanna do something. He still gonna probably wanna run around. And technically I ain't gotta be at work till noon. So I technically have the leeway to run around. I don't have to get up early, quote unquote early. So we'll go through all that, depending on, you know, how the game turns out, because, you know, Steelers lose. It's not the energy ain't so good. You know, the energy ain't so good. And more than likely, we're going to take over SoFi. It's going to be Steeler fans everywhere. So, you know, the energy be good. People be talking, partying, you know, up lively. So I called Rick tonight, see what he want to do. We was even thinking about, and I've seen people do it before. In fact, dude did it, sit right next to me, was bragging. Yeah, I just got my ticket. I paid $125. Where I probably paid like 4, 5, 6. He had a single ticket sitting right next to me. But I can't fly and plan all this across the country and not have a ticket. That's just not the way I operate. Even though I'm sure people do, and I probably could save a lot of money, but for this one, and I'm like, and see, for this game coming up Sunday, I was like, I can miss it. Literally, I was like, I ain't gonna watch it at home. But then the thought of Pittsburgh playing 20 miles from where I was sitting, and I'm not at the game, that thought was unthinkable. That's the part that made me say, no, you gotta go. You gotta get in there. One way or the other, even if you're not sitting in the seats you wanna sit in, you gotta get in there. But it looks like tickets are coming down a little bit. There's a non-VIP section, like adjacent to the VIP section. Tickets are a lot lower. Not a lot lower, but significantly lower. You know. And either way, we're gonna get up in there. And it might even come down to, when I say funky, go ahead and spend X amount of dollars to get the seat. Let's come down to that before. If I just get to the point where like, whatever. You just get that really high price seat just to put it into it. And to have the experience of, you know, having a very, very expensive seat. Free food and XXXX, and all of that, you know. So we'll see. That's what's going on. Out here today walking. I didn't walk yesterday. I had to go in the office yesterday, so I had to get up an hour earlier and drive in. I had to get up at 8 instead of 9. And I was like, I don't feel like it. I was like, I just won't walk today. I set my alarm to be 2 hours later. I don't know. It might be me and my energy and stamina to where, and I found out too, this is what I did find out too, that when it takes me like a few hours to wake up. And then I feel better. It's like, it's just so hard to get the day started. So what I've been doing is starting the day really slow. You know, I punch in, I'm on the clock, I'm getting paid, but I'm going really slow. I'm giving myself a lot of time just to wake up and get going. And like I said, I don't know if it's because I end up taking them Excedrins with that caffeine in it or whatever. But then after a few hours or a couple hours maybe, I'm feeling better. I'm in a groove. You know, I think I take the pressure off me to hit the ground running and just let the day come to me, and I get some traction, some footing, and start making, not progress, but, you know, feeling quote unquote better and more energized about the whole thing. So that made the day go a lot better, where I just say, forget it, I don't care. Well, as soon as I kind of do that, it's like, forget it, quote unquote, you know, pretty much like, forget it, I don't care. That's when I'm able to relax and actually, you know, go after the work, and it don't hurt so much to do. And then being at work on Wednesday, talking to people, being around people, the energy of people, you know, it's good for me. And I say it all the time. I need to probably socialize to be around people more, be around people's energy. That'll probably help my energy in the long run. Make me feel better. Or, you know, be around the spirit of people, energy, ideas, motivation, you know, just inspiration, I guess. So that's where I'm at now. I also was thinking that I know I got a good life. I know my life is good. But I understand, even though my life is good, the quote unquote complaining is to make it better. One of the maybe consequences of complaining, or maybe even the reason for complaining, is to make it better, to identify something that you feel out of place or that you don't like or agree with. It's easy to find something wrong. It's easy. As me as humans, we can easily find something wrong. We notice that almost immediately. Quote unquote wrong. And wrong is something that you don't agree with, or something that subjectively affects you negatively. So then once I do that, and I catch myself talking about it too much, I say, okay, it's time to address it. Because I think the whole point of being human is to evolve and to get quote unquote better, whatever better is for you. Your better ain't gonna be my better. Whatever better is, evolve and to change. And quote unquote grow. I don't know if grow is the word. Mature, I don't know if mature is the word. But I like the word evolve into something subjectively greater to yourself. Subjective, something that is to yourself greater, which would make it subjective. Whatever it is. You know, your life ain't my life ain't your life. So, oh, no. Some people don't want to fly to Europe, or go to concerts, go to football games, or quote unquote, live the life I love so much. And there was a time where I faulted people almost and looked down on them because they didn't want to live the life that I was living, the kind of life I was living. I was like, how can you not, you know, want to blah, 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 go to Europe, do this? You know, how's that even possible? You're wrong. I was almost like, you're wrong for not wanting this. And that comes from, again, that was before I realized how subjective everything was. And that, you know, I grew. I guess grew could be a word. I grew into this person I am now. My understanding is much more broader, much more. I understand the idea of subjectivity, and understand a lot more. And this all fits together a lot better now. Even though the seeds of it were planted long ago, I couldn't quite put it into words or have the proper understanding to get there. I had to have further experience in life and read and study and learn different things and see how my really raw, crude feelings, thoughts, and understanding would develop into a more sophisticated, I think, quote unquote, better, subjectively, of course, better way of thinking and looking at it. Definitely much more easy to explain to somebody now that I have this understanding, and much more palatable to where I see where a lot of it fits in to some of the philosophies that I strongly disagree with. I can actually see, and it's what really, I think, a good change for me was that it doesn't bother me, or I don't hate or dislike, or I'm not triggered by philosophies or ideas that contradict mine. It's like, hey, I got mine. I'm happy. I have my understanding. I'm good. You do you. I do me, you do you. But before, there was a time where I didn't feel my voice was heard. And or maybe there were some things that I desired for myself that I wasn't getting, that made it very difficult for me to be happy for other people. And I think it's not in a bad way where, I wanted to keep them down and I would, not wish they got that, or you don't deserve that, or what you got that for. It wasn't hating on them if they had it. I used it more of a motivation to get it myself. So I was kind of playfully hating on them, because they got this, they got that, and I ain't got that yet. And I use that as motivation. Travel was one of them, seeing people travel and doing stuff. One of the ones was, I remember Mr. Payne and them was in Russia. P-Funk was in Russia, Moscow. And they went to St. Basil and they posted pictures of them there. That one really got me. That was one I should have, because I always had a thing for Moscow and Russia and that culture. And P-Funk was there. I was like, oh my God. That one really motivated me. And it stuck with me for years. Till I got out there. I made a lot of those travel dreams or desires happen. Plus, you also see other people doing it, and you say it's possible. It's almost like, I guess you could say, a role model. You say, oh, it can be done. And then when I started planning my own trips, via the internet, doing it, booking the hotels, the travel, the flight, transportation, everything. You start doing that a while, then you get confident, and you're like, I'm gonna go to blah, blah, blah. No, first I'm gonna go here, then I'm gonna fly here, then we're gonna fly here. Like I said, I took my daughter and her husband. We went to Australia, then we got over there, we went to Beijing. No, first, we went to Sydney, then we flew to Melbourne, then we flew to Beijing, then we flew to Tokyo. I booked that all myself. I did that all myself. All the way down to the travel visas, everything. Her visa, my visa, all of it. It was fun. All right, not only did I save money for, not having to pay a travel agent or whatever. I think I saved money anyway, but it was fun. I enjoyed it, putting it together. And everything went as planned. Boom, 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 boom. Everything went as planned. So, one little snag in Beijing, they took me down to the bottom of the airport right before my plane was getting late because I had a lithium battery in one of my luggage. And they took me down there and they wasn't expedient. I knew my plane was going to leave. My daughter and her husband was getting on the plane. By the time they let me go, I barely made it up there. The bottom of the airport is scary. The basement is scary. It's so huge. And I'm in Beijing. I'm thinking nobody speak English, blah, 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 blah. But I made it to the plane. But woo, it was pushy. It was touchy. It was definitely touchy. I think maybe the airlines knew, and maybe they had got word and knew. But I booked all that myself. Once you start doing that, it opens up life. Life opens up to you. I was thinking today again. I don't think I can live in Youngstown because I don't see enough people. Not that I want to talk to these people or get to know these people or anything, just to have the people energy around me. I got to see thousands of people. Be around that kind of energy or action, diversity, even stuff that irritates me. I need that. I need the little things that irk me. It's a part of it. And, you grow up, you get used to So I tell the people who are born and raised in California, y'all spoiled. Y'all don't know what it's like. Some of them do, some of them been other places. But for the most part, Hollywood always been there. The beach always been there. The Lakers, the Raiders, football teams, the Stars, they grew up with it. I grew up in Youngstown, Ohio, a town, a little town, probably not even a city, a town. And in doing so, a lot of things were taught me or bred into me or part of the culture that may have given me a stronger, definite air quotes on that, a different foundation of ethics and understanding. Because if you're 3, 4, 5, you raising kids, I don't understand. A lot of times let me see you. You raise your kids out here in California. There's too much going on. It's a lot of distraction. And, maybe that's good for a child growing up to grow up used to that. That has to have some kind of benefit. But there's like some core morals or understandings or foundation for ethics, I want to say, that you might want to put in your child at an early age and then let them grow from that. A lot of distractions and junk that I think if you're raising children, you're not going to be in a position to really take advantage of that you're paying for. Just being here. Extra mortgage, extra rent. You're paying for location. But if all you're doing is just raising your child, you're only really taking advantage of the Hollywood and the craziness and the beaches and Disneylands and this and that. Well, I pay $3,000-4,000 a month. But location. This is also, I'm just asking a question. This is subjective. It's just me asking a question. I'm not saying right or wrong, left or right. It's just me asking a question. I'm sure there's an answer to it. Then I get out here doing these damn steps. My God. It's helping. Woke up 191.6 this morning, and I didn't even get my steps yesterday, and I still dropped some weight. So, and now they got ads or whatever's saying, they questioning the walking 10,000 steps. Oh, walking 10,000 steps, that doesn't work anymore. Or that doesn't work. Here's what you should do. I'm like, man, stop it. This is my thing. And I realized that probably physically, I mean, as far as weight loss and all that, it may not be the most efficient way of doing that, but psychologically and just being out and doing it, I know has its benefit. It may not be all physical. Just being out mentally, getting out, being out of the house, seeing things, seeing people, getting a little walk on, getting the blood going, and just that good feeling, you know. Well, that's why that looks so good, because I got the brightness on adaptive. I got the brightness on like super high. That's why it's all bright, and I'm looking all sharp. I don't need to look all that sharp. Oh, that's switched over. See, that's how I'm used to seeing myself now. You can't see it. It's just not as dark, not as bright and vivid. I turn the brightness on the phone down, which helps it not to overheat, which saves battery, et cetera, et cetera. So here I am in this Hollywood city, the city of the stars moving, grooving, and cars. Had that record before I was allowed to get records. The 45, Hollywood Swinging. We used to play it, used to be my song. That and Psychedelic Shack, Ball of Confusion, I Want You Back. Sly and the Family Stone, Hot Fun in the Summertime. Testify by the Parliaments. And I remember when I learned that I Want to Testify by the Parliaments was Parliament, my Mothership Connection Parliament. Started learning about what Funkadelic was and how Bootsy and all that was part of it. Because you just hear street talk, you know. Niggas be like, yeah, that's the same. You know, you be getting information from all different ways, some of it accurate, some of it not. But it was coming in to be processed, and there was really nowhere place to check it. There was really no outlet to check any of this. I'm thinking you can't go to the library, very few magazines. And magazines was expensive, even though you could probably go in there and read them until they chase you away. But then you should be able to read them at the library. But you know what I'm saying. It wasn't like the internet where you can Google, say, hey, who were the members, how did Parliament start? Who started Parliament? You know, who's the leader? You can just Google all that information there. Before, we were just in a bubble. We were just in a bubble. In fact, it was a long time, a significant amount of time before I actually saw Parliament or P-Funk. Because my first was the music. Mothership Connection music hit me. I took the 8-track, and the 8-track was nothing but a blue sticker, a blue, thing with black text. There was no pictures of the band, no Mothership Connection picture, no spaceship, no nothing. All I had was a blue sticker on that 8-track. It said Parliament Mothership Connection and the name of the songs. And a lot of times the name of the songs wasn't even spelt right, but it didn't matter. And then of course, even on and then you go to the store or Kmart or something, and you go to their music section, And you can actually see what the quote unquote real 8-track looked like, and how beautiful it was. The Motor Booty cover and the Mothership Connection, and the colors and the writing and the information on it. And every now and then on Rock and Soul or one of those magazines, you'll see Parliament or Jet. Might have a picture of Mr. Clinton and them on there. Now look at me. Now look at me. Now look at me surrounded by people who love the music, musicians who play the music that I love so much. That's why I say I'm the luckiest guy in the world. Not because of anything, well, it might be because of something special that I did or am, but I'm lucky because of the people around me. And it definitely took me a long time to understand that. It definitely took me a good while to understand that. It's not just me. It's not just me that makes my life so good. I play a large part in it, but it's the people around me and the things around me and the access to things around me. And I just feel so, just to have the music I love so much all these years, have it at my fingertips, you know? And to have what I believe, to be the people who play it best around me, or to have access, to even know them, to be friends with them all across the country, if not the world. That is really something I hold special and very proud of. Play that music, 'cause it's all about the music. It's all about the music. And the production and the perseverance or preserving, what's the word? Perseverance of that music and continue that music. And for me, and for every other individual, to have it preserved in the fashion that you like best. Everybody may have a fashion that they like best or a style they like best, and they should, quote unquote, fight or lobby for that. Say, hey, this is what I like, this is the way I like it. Everybody has their own idea. And in that way, diversity. Ooh, somebody got on too much makeup. Somebody got on too much cologne. That way, the different ideas, diversity of thought and ideas, it'll mesh together into something different. Kind of take some of that, somebody gonna take some of this, put that together. We all here. We're all here. Love that damn music. I love that P-Funk shit. Nothing else. Nothing. Like I said, up to the point where I don't even go see nobody else anymore. I don't even fake it. Look at my teeth. I gotta get my teeth fixed. My teeth was perfect. Like I said, I don't even try to go see other people anymore. 'Cause I'd just be sitting there wondering why, or sitting there wait for him to play P-Funk. And thank the universe that George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic are still touring, and touring at a level to where they're not necessarily a nostalgia band. Because I've seen people, some of these cameos and barcades and stuff, oh my God. It's like it's the same show with older, lesser people. And by lesser, I mean, you know, not as thoroughly immersed or not as thoroughly authentic. Also, one thing too, with They Can Dance is one of a group that I just really vibe to, really like. One of my favorites. And I went and saw them live in Barcelona. Yeah, I'm kind of flossing. I saw them live in Barcelona, Spain. And them live sound just like the record. And it was nice. You know, the music had a little different richness to it, a little bit more deeper feeling, a little bit more resolution, you know. It felt a little, you know, speakers and that felt a little more powerful, more whatever. But it sounded exactly the same. It was exactly the same. P-Funk ain't like that. P-Funk ain't like that, and that's one thing I love about him. No two shows gonna be the same. They could probably play the exact set list 2 nights in a row, and it won't be the same. That's when I got hip, if I can say that. I got hip to seeing multiple shows. Because seeing that one show, back in the day when I wasn't getting enough, when I wasn't getting nowhere near enough, it had too much pressure on it. It was too much riding on me getting everything I needed from one show. And then, I might not see him again until so-and-so, or hell, it was at a point where I might not see him again, period. It was a couple, you know, it was more than a few times where it might have been, I might not ever see him again live. You know, it was highly possible. And I ain't talking about with all this reunion tour stuff. I mean, retirement tour, final tour stuff. I'm talking about back in the day before, you know, I understood my life was limited to Youngstown. I wasn't financially well off to do things. And I was limited in my scope of how big my playground, playing field was. But now, you know, all around the world for the funk. Where my desire to travel combined with funk, and hey, I'm known for it, and I'm proud of it. So something that I'm proud of. Something I enjoy. I love that. I just love travel and funk. It's like you get to travel to Japan, see this, see that, and then that night, go see P-Funk. What the hell? Travel to New York, hang out in museums and this and that, to go see P-Funk that night. What the hell? Yeah, so that's where I'm at. And P-Funk's supposed to be coming around California. I think, ooh, I better check the dates. Was it next year? Yeah, they told us we're gonna go to more back in the office days, but not till 2027. And you know 2027 is my retirement. I turned 65 in June 2027. So in April 2027, we're supposed to have to go back to the office 3 days a week. June 2027, I could file for Medicare, get medical coverage, which would free up a lot of funds for me to retire. I'm just saying. But maybe this will pass. Maybe this whole thing will pass, because I really noticed, really noticed that after a few hours, I'm okay. It just hurts to start. It just hurts to get in there, and probably, I probably put too much pressure on myself. This and that. I just got to ease into it. In fact, I get that first email, I just let it sit. I don't even look at it. As soon as you log in, become available. Hear it. I click on that email, get in my queue. Okay, I glance at it, make sure it's not urgent. And then make sure it's something that I could take a deep breath on and meticulously go through the steps of handling it while building up momentum and traction to do the job, to continue to do the job. And that helps. It seems to help the day go by. So. Yeah, I got a good life. I have a good life. And I know it. And I'm proud of it. And I earned it. I built it. Had to make certain choices where society and the people around me, family, everybody, was going in another way, believing in another method, or believing things are this way, things are that way. I never saw it that way. I looked at the way they saw it, judged it, took in the information, probably even retained a lot of the information just in case, even though I didn't agree with it. I thought it was false, basically false. I had to develop me. I had to put together a philosophy for Jeffery. Not a philosophy that Jesus wants you to live, not a philosophy that your mother wants you to live, or your family wants you to live, or people around you, or society wants you to live. At an early age, I easily pushed aside stuff like that. It was easy. It was really easy for me. After a certain, I guess probably a certain period of development, for me to start saying. And I learned how to hold these views and not offend anybody. Because you're young. Adults, there's probably been times where I've, quote unquote, stood up to or voiced my opinion to adults, and not in a disrespectful way, but I knew I was able to ask questions that they couldn't answer. And I recognized that. And I recognized when I'd hit a nerve to where their power as being an adult was going to take over and win. Basically, shut up and just do what I tell you. That's just the rough end of it. Just sit down and be quiet. Because they had that power, your teachers, your adults. And it does come a point to where, sometimes they just need to shut that down. We need to accomplish something. Maybe, we'll talk about it later, maybe not. But right now, I need you to do this. And they have that power, being an adult, quote unquote, over you. Especially if they're a parent or a teacher or something like that. And I learned not to push them too far. Not to push them too far. And then I learned not to push them too far and back up off it like I know I won. Yeah, quote unquote won. I don't know if all this is true, but I believe it to be true. And if I'm thinking if you know me, how I am now, you can probably see I'm probably describing the roots of what became me, what flowered into being the Jeffery I am now, the beginnings of it, how it all began. So I'll probably get back home today. I'll be under 190, I'll probably be like 189. .6 or something like that. 189.8 or something like that. Because I'm not losing as much water, because it's not as hot, I'm not sweating as much. And it's water weight, but it's still nice to be under 190. I don't give a damn. Like I say, even if I look at a glass of water, I'll put on 2 pounds. That's how much water weight it is. You can see somebody learning how to drive. You know, they had that look, looking straight ahead, the 2 hands on the wheel, peering in the seat. Beautiful day, as you can see. Thursday. I guess it takes a while for my energy to come up in the morning. For me to get in the groove and to come up. Maybe I wake up too abruptly. Or maybe I should wake up too slow. I don't know, it's one of those. Either I wake up too abruptly or I wake up too slow. I can't remember which one. Considering the drastic difference between the two, to not be able to remember which one, kind of tells you something about my generalized feeling on the subject. Yeah, I do okay. I do okay. Got $93 in my bank account right now. I get paid tomorrow. But I'm gonna have to set something up. It's becoming expensive. It's becoming really expensive. Look at that, see? I look good, don't I? I don't look too bad at all, do I? Wearing my Walmart cheapy pullover, warm up, whatever you want to call it. Kind of remind me of a 1970s looking thing. With the pockets and the coloring. Oh, I had the light. I didn't even look. I was looking at traffic. I had the light. So, here we are, this beautiful day. Here we are on this beautiful day. It's warming up a little bit cooler yesterday. Warming up a little bit today, but not blazing hot sun. You know, I guess you could call this a fall day, couldn't you? Could you call this a fall day? It's not winter yet. Had that conversation yesterday with my boss. Oh boy, this got something from the GSO office. What are they talking about? Oh, I think it's the Great Shakeout. I think it's the Great Shakeout. I have an earthquake drill. And they were sending in text messages. People confirmed that they're out of the building. I guess I probably could reply back. But since I ain't working there, you know, they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. Working from home is a hell of a change. They shouldn't have gave it to us. They shouldn't have gave it to us. They shouldn't have gave it to us. Now we don't want to give it back. You know, I done set up a whole new lifestyle routine. You know, I go back and hang out with family for a few weeks at a time. And having to spend 3 days of PTO a week is definitely going to put a stress on that possibility. 3 days a week, that means I'd have to work 6 weeks. I get a day a week. So there'll be 6 weeks uninterrupted. I think I didn't take a day this week. I took one last week. Yeah, I just didn't get my steps on Wednesday. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe my body needs a timeout. Maybe I'm pushing it too much. Maybe on Wednesday, I'll sleep in and not get my steps. And I still ended up with like 8,000. So, or maybe just, you know, do it only 20 minutes instead of 2 hours. Maybe only thing I would have to do is really like 4,000 in the morning. 3,000 or so. And if I do 3,000 in the morning, I get the rest doing work at break and lunch. Something like that. But it feels good. Feels good to get out here and get it done. It really feels good when you get back home. You can walk in that door, you get to the door. And it really, really feels good once you get your breakfast and sit down in that recliner. Then I gotta get it started up again. And I think that's where the pain, if you can call it pain, begins. '26, 27. So 2027 will be 65 years. That's when I can get Medicare. Got to get medical coverage to have that in. Get that set up. And then you can retire, live off 4% or whatever percent of your 401k savings. Because they say 4%. I'm going over. They say 4%. You know, you're pulling some out, but you're not, you know, you're not digging into the principle so much. Live a few years off of that, and then file for delayed Social Security. One of the main things I got to look into now is getting the rent or the mortgage down low. Looked at some stuff. You know, they got some stuff in Pittsburgh. I saw something, $380,000 for a townhouse or something like that. That's nothing. That's nothing. Get that payment down and fixed, and so it won't go up. See, that's the big thing too. So, yep, that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. That's where we're at and what we're doing. Steelers, funk, Jeffery TV, work, family, friends, life, philosophy. I'm just saying. It's good. Can you hear me when I fart? Farting feels good. Get that gas out. It feels good. I even go front. It does. It does. All right. All right. Swinging on y'all. 2 times. For me. For the funk. And for every elementary particle that has ever existed in any atom in this or any universe that ever was, is, or will be. The totality of it all, a theory of universe. Hypothesis of all as one. My name is Jeffery.